All right, so we're talking about the lab 312 right now, okay? And so the point is, the data program is basically data structure plus algorithm, right? So here we are talking about the data structure where you have this nested dictionary. So and so this is how you use it, right? For seasons. So we haven't talked about the loops yet. So yeah, bummer. You can't understand this until we talk about loops. But suppose you guys are so advanced, right? You understand what loop is. So this is actually very easy to understand. So for each seasons is a dictionary. So what it gives you is a key iteration of the key. So the season will be spring, summer, and maybe autumn and winter. I didn't put it there because it's just an example, right? You have to complete on your own. So the season will be iterating through spring, summer, and what it's looking for is seasons bracket season. So what does that mean? It will give you the value for each key. And so it will see this value first. And that's the valid dictionary. So it is itself a dictionary, right? So you get this. So now I'm first examining spring. And then in that dictionary, I'm literally through the key, which is the month of the year, right? The months. And if the months that you're looking for, which is the months you enter, is one of them, that's the first condition, right? Now I use the if condition. If the months, which is the key for this sub-dictionary, is in the valid dictionary, which is this variable, okay? And you grab that key, and its zeroth element is the first element, is this tuple, right? The zeroth so okay, so the value is the tuple, and for each tuple you have two elements. One is the left and one is the right. It's the starting and end date. So if 0 means the starting date, if the starting date is less equal to the day you enter, and the day is less equal to that second element, which you use -1 because you can use 1, it doesn't matter. It's the last element. And then, so the day is within this tuple and the month matches, then you find it, it's the spring. And you can just report the current season, which is spring. If not, I'm gonna go through the next season and do the same thing and repeat and rinse. So if it's not in the March, I'm gonna, what I do, I'm literally through the inner loops, right? Dictionary season. Oh yeah, no, I'm looking for the months in that entire thing. So I actually can't find the month in that, and I'm looking for that particular month. So if it's not there, it's not in the entire. So I don't need a loop. Sorry, that should be fine. All right. So if it's found, it's just a Boolean value. Initially, it's false. I suppose I didn't find it to begin with, and I only turn that to true when I actually found something, and I break. The break basically say I don't even need to. If I find it in the spring, do I need to search for summer and winter? No, right? Because this is unique. So I just break early to save some computation time, and then print answer depends if I found or not. Okay, so let me. Okay, any question on this solution? It's kind of elegant, right? It's like only 30 lines minus the 6 comments. So this is really elegant. What do you say? Comments? Of course, I understand that you haven't learned loops yet, and you haven't learned how to loop through dictionary because you only right. So we'll talk about in later, but suppose you understand this. This is a really elegant solution. I just want to point out another way to do that. Otherwise, you have to do a lot of if else, right? You have to. I think this is tricky, right? You have March, month, and day. You have to see. I don't know how you represent this. So, how did you do it? You have to somehow, you know, represent data in those in this range. So you have to say if month is March, April, you know, one of them, right? And then you can check the day. I don't know. Kind of messy. Yeah,
Yeah.
messy nested if statement.
So mine was it's still incomplete, but I started with writing down months as a variable, then and creating a list from January through December.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have a general if statement if the input month is in months and input day is greater than 0 and input day is less than or equal to 31, then
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be, then inside that if statement is another if else statement. You know, if input month is equals to, it is messy so far, but
Yeah, because you see the problem is not every month have the same day, right? Sometimes it's 31 days, sometimes 30 days. So if you enter February 31st, that's a invalid input, right? I hope you took care of that.
let's see, run program. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I get cases where it shows me 2 seasons and it's like, you know, spring and winter, and so it is something, still 50%, but it's not done yet. But yeah, I am gonna write a whole bunch of conditions, and it's gonna be like if else statements instead of an if else statement, you know.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Yeah, unfortunately, if you don't use loop, then it's gonna be a lot of if else, right?
Okay.
But that's fine. The purpose of this chapter is practice if else. Maybe you can simplify a little better by organize the data in a list. So if that's something in the list, and you can yeah, there's a lot of boundary conditions that you have to think about. Yeah, but do you kind of like get this idea using dictionary? I guess the purpose of the loop is to simplify your code. Let the computer do all the nasty data crunching, right? You can tell them in a least amount of resistance, like, you know, least amount of instructions. That's what I mean. Yeah, take a look at this, and you will be able to understand this when you learn how to use loops to iterate through those dictionary. Hey, Austin. Sorry, there's some, you know, and my meeting went longer than I thought, so I started 5 minutes late. But anyway, that's what it is. We talk about the lab 12. Any questions, final comments? And also I want to mention that the dictionary of dictionaries are very useful concept. You probably would use that on your text-based game. Just give you some hint, right? Have you looked at this project yet? Text-based game. So you understand what you need to do, right? There's some rooms, I have items, you have to pick the items, and you also need to navigate from room to room. So in the room, you have items, you may have some other property that you can associate with the room. It's a perfect data structure if you use dictionary, right? So imagine this can be a room, and then in the room, you will have another dictionary, like, you know, directions, for example, east. If you, let me just say if you have, this is your rooms, right? Okay. Suppose this is your room equal to our rooms, doesn't matter, right? So that's a dictionary. And then you can say, I don't know, dining room, dining, dining. And then in dining room, you have like east. In the east, you have, I don't know, bedroom. Okay, all right, and west have, I don't know, hallway. Okay, and then maybe item, each room has item like sort. Okay, so that's your dining room, and then you may have bedroom as a key. So west is dining, right? You have to be, matching those things. And east have, I don't know, like living room, something like that, right? Item, I don't know, sandwich. Okay, so something like that. And then if you want to move room to room, you can just check if the key, which is the direction, is inside one of your values, which is dictionary, right? If it's not, that's a valid direction to move. And if you move, you can just change your current room to one of the keys in the outer loop, bedroom or dining, and then go from there. So each time you switch to a different key, you have a new set of directions, and you can check at this moment in this location where you can go and which item you have, and you can pick that item. You can put the item into an additional list, right? Picked items equal to a list, right? And then you can just put them there and delete the item from the dictionary. So that's the whole idea of using the dictionary of dictionary to complete your text-based game. Of course, there will be YouTube videos for that, but that's to give you some ideas. All right, so that's 313. And for the 313 exact change, write a program with total change amount as integer input and output the change using fewest coins, 1 coin type per line. The coin types are dollars, quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. Use singular and plural coin name as appropriate, like 1 penny versus 2 pennies. So right there, you need the if-else statement, right? If it's 1, then you use the single form, and more than 1, use plural form. Something like that, right? If num equal 1, print this, otherwise, please print that. Now, in this problem, I also recommend you can use a dictionary, okay? So dictionary, you can have a key and value. In this case, I will have the key as like a string, dollars, and value is the number, face number, right? Face value. And the amount is basically in cents, okay? And then you can say for key and value in exchange items, exchange is a dictionary. Dot item is a function to give you both a key value in pairs. So you can get dollars 100 at a time, quarter 25 for another group. And if the dollars num get key, so num is the answer, right? If the num has the key, right? The key is the dollars, right? And then you can use amount divided by the value, which is the 100 cents, to get how many dollar you have for that amount. Like you have 520 cents, then you have $5. So the num k will have 5. And then don't forget to use modular sign to have the reminder. So after that, your reminder will be in cents again, whatever the number of coins left, that's less than $1, that's the amount you collect. And then you repeat. So now next you go to quarters, see if it satisfy it's more than 25. So this way, you don't even need to check, if amount is greater than 25 or 100, because if it's not greater than 25, it will become 0 for that category, right? So you just automatically go ahead. And then after that, for key value in the items, if value is greater than 0, you print that. But this one is just make sure that you have more than 1 coin in that category. So the number items is basically the key value pair for that answer. And if you run it, Python lab 3.13.py. Total amount like 523 cents. You get $5, $2 and 3 pennies. Okay. Now, hold on. Of course, there's some like 521. I didn't take care of this Perl form. You need to use that to take care of that. I'm just giving you some illustration, right? This is not complete answer, of course, to the lab, but this will give you some ideas. Again, dictionary is a great data structure to go.
Yeah, I think one of my bad habits is using less dictionaries, and like I know I could make some process a lot easier for myself if I use dictionaries, but
yeah. You know, again, before you program, always think about how to represent your data, right? You can also flip the key and value. You can say 100 colon dollars. So maybe, you know, think about how to, you know, rechange your code if your dictionary changes, the key value exchanged. So I encourage you to practice. Eventually, you're gonna get it, but if you want to practice now, I think it will help. Okay, so I think I would keep this lecture short. So it's basically it, right, for the lab. Any comments, question for any discussions before like prior weeks? And what's your, you can share some, you know, what you think about this course with us too, if you want. General comments.
I guess yeah, I could. I like this course a lot. As I said, this was second time taking it. The first time I took it, some problems came up that I wasn't able to complete the course, the Python course. But even the last one, you know, I didn't have, the teacher wasn't like, we didn't have video calls and or resources to check out. I think that the professor was slacking on that part. So it was like a lot of things I had to look up and watch YouTube videos and yeah. So, but I like this is like a lot more, you know, engaging and
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was figured that it's better to talk face to face. If you have any question, I get instantaneous feedback, right? And rather than emails and, you know, messages, it's gonna have a time delay. Yeah, and then if you know, for the newcomers, the Python, I think one of the first thing that, you know, first time coder feel difficult is Python is not like other programs that it emphasizes the empty space or the indentation a lot, right? Because I oftentimes see students sloppy about where you put the statement, right? If you had a print statement here, it's outside the for loop, right? If you have here, it's inside, inside the if statement. Inside the for loop, but outside the if statement. If you have it here, well, actually you can't put it here, then it's inside the if statement, right? So the indentation is super important. It's basically like tell you where the block of code start and end, isn't it, right? In other languages, you have like curly braces that will help you to identify, oh, this belongs to this if statement, right? But in Python, you don't have none of that because they want to save some you know, curly braces for the dictionary. So that's why, you know, all the punctuation, all the things are used in Python, like, you know, square brackets for list and brackets regular is for tuple example, right? Or set. So yeah, so be careful about, and don't forget the colon at the end. You don't have a semicolon like C++, don't do that. So yeah, those are the nuances of Python syntax. But I think with IDE, right, it will help you to, you just tap, you press the tab or shift tab, it will help you to indent your code.
you can also, I think two things too. I know this is well, not notice, but I've used this. You can right click and click on format, and you can do that. And there's another option where there's a plugin if you're using PyCharm or IntelliJ.
Very good.
Even VS Code, you can download a there's an indent Rainbow or some
Yeah, yeah,
extension
yeah,
to
yeah.
help you highlight them.
That's why going for IDE like PyCharm, and you see this is really nice, right? I don't even know this online IDE also have a format. Do you think this online IDE is good too? The report.com, I think that's pretty good. It's good for my teaching style, and I can share it with students. But also, it's a good tool you can share with each other, right? The code you can collaborate on the code. It's like Google Docs. Everybody can start coding. It's a good tool for collaborating.
Yeah, but yeah, it is for teaching and stuff. But I think in a way I would have preferred a VS Code instead, or an IDE.
Yeah,
Because in the real world, that is what we use. We don't really use REPL. No one uses REPL.
right.
And two is like VS Code gives you a chance to work with GitHub or Git, the version control, or you can use like VS Code's built-in what was that, collaboration live, or
Yeah. Good news is this one also has a version control now. You can create a Git repo and do version control as well.
cool.
So it's becoming more and more powerful for the online IDE now. And this is sometimes you only have iPad, right? You don't have a full-blown computer. You can still work on the code that way.
That's cool.
Yeah. So